Welcome to HEL. Come on in, follow me. There's so many different little features that are hidden inside that ferrule, but for us, that's what it's all about. It's what you can't see that's important, and that's probably 90% of all businesses in the UK. It's the bit that people don't see that's the really important thing. My name is Simon Lane, and I run a company called HEL Performance. In layman's terms, HEL Performance is a manufacturer of brake hoses, clutch hoses for motorcycles in the automotive marketplace. We manufacture a stainless steel braided tube, and it has two stainless steel fittings swaged on the end that won't come off, so over-specified that we know that we will keep you safe. So actually, when my granddad and my grandmother came over originally from Ireland, they settled on a farm opposite. So this was part of the farm, the farmland. So my grandfather lived there, and then my dad set up his business, which was that, ended up as that building, which was Derrick Lane Hydraulics. And then a third generation has been on the same land as we started out here in our first building. So there's a picture of me, dad with his sister over on the farm across the road that we saw when they were younger. There's a photo of my mum sat on a motorcycle at a very, very early age. So I guess there was always something about motorcycling in our family. So as a child at Exeter Falcons, which was at the county ground, we used to have a speedway track right in the middle of Exeter, watching some amazingly courageous people racing around with no brakes, no gears, no fears. And I think that's something that sticks in my mind from an early age that really got me hooked into motorcycles. I was always fiddling with stuff, making stuff, trying normally take things apart, never put them back together. But I was always interested in how things work and how things were made. My father had come from farming background, but when his father died, there wasn't enough of a farm left for my dad to actually make any money from or make a career from, really. But because of this farming background, he saw an outlet for hydraulics, didn't know anything about it, learned everything as he was going along, and built a behemoth of a business over the years of 45 years that my mother and father put into this business. So I knew hydraulics, so I knew motorcycles, so I was putting those two together. That's where I really wanted to drive in life. We first started out in Totnes, very small little unit, almost the size of, like, say, a double garage. That was all we had. We had a thought that we could offer something to the marketplace. Everything in the industry was reusable fittings, so they screwed together. Because of our history in hydraulics, I knew that the safest was a permanent, tamper-evident, swaged-on fitting. No one else was doing it. There was nothing else like it in the industry. And these two guys in a shed in Totnes thought, we're going to have a go for this. We're going to take on the big boys, and we're going to win. We started making these brake hoses for motorbikes, decided they were going to be called HEL Performance, because no one's going to buy a Hose Equip Limited brake hose, but people will buy HEL Performance all day long. And we went opposite to a sticker shop. There's a guy who worked in there, and I said, would you be able to make us a sticker, please? We're making these things. We want to send stickers out to go on bikes. About 45 minutes, an hour later, he came back across with this red oval with a beautiful devil's tail with this Benguiat script, HEL, in it. And we looked at it and went, oh my goodness, that is just beautiful. That is fantastic, gorgeous. Because as soon as we saw that, we said, we've got a product that's amazing. Now we've got a logo that goes hand in hand with it. We can really do something with this.
Can you show us around?
Absolutely, come on in, follow me. So here at HEL Performance, we've got a great deal of memorabilia. We've been really fortunate with some of the teams and the riders that we've supported have actually given back to us as a thank you almost for what we do for them. So for example, we've got a set from a guy who's a stuntman in lots of films. So the bikes that we used in, say, Mission Impossible, the latest film, that had our brake hoses on, the motocross bike Tom Cruise jumps across the canyon in, things like that. So we get these little bits of history that we like to keep here, and it shows, really importantly, where the company has been, but obviously where we can be in the future. So if we go over to the first building, it's where it actually all started, really. Go past the large HEL Performance truck that sits out at the British Superbikes every race meeting. So we take what we've got inside of what you've seen, our workshop, and we take that up to a British Superbike event. And the bonus for us is, and for the teams more importantly, is we can keep them safe on track. So if they want slight changes, slight modifications to a brake hose kit, we can do that right there at the track. All right, guys. So for a company that's built its reputation on stopping things, we also like to start a lot as well. And that starts with the design of new products. And say, for example, that banjo that we just saw down in the other building, that's being drawn on screen at the moment, so that the guys in the Star CNC department can actually manufacture exactly what they need to make on the machines each day. The next chapter of HEL Performance, really, it's the rise of the robots, if you like. So all our milling machines in the background, see what's being made on them. This is quite an interesting one, the Mark II Master Cylinder, our latest thing. It's all being milled on this machine, constant, 24/7. It's robot loaded, which a lot of people worry about, the robots that are coming into the marketplace. The benefit for us is we've got some really good guys here that could be doing a lot more better work in there than they are just loading machines. That the robots take the slack of that and we can get some really good products out. So we've enjoyed a great deal of highs in our history at HEL Performance, mostly on racetracks, British touring cars, British superbikes, Isle of Man TT, Northwest 200, some of the real greats, the names that have used our products and been successful, and we've kept them safe. But of those highs, there are obviously some real lows, and that's the part of life or part of business that people don't really want to talk about, but they happen all the time. So in this office, I've got a set of Daly Matheson's leathers in the corner that always sits behind me, which seems like a strange thing because we unfortunately lost Daly back in 2019. It's just a terrible, terrible shame, tragedy. An accident at the TT caused him to lose his life. But he's always in the office with me. And as a part of that, his daughter at the time, a girl called Daisy Blue, she actually sent me a picture when she was 2 years old. So she sent me a picture that she'd done at the time with the words, "All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them." And it's stayed on my wall ever since. And it's one of those things that reminds us about all the massive input that other people have had on our lives and our career as HEL Performance that brings us to where we are today. And without those people behind us, without that support, without brilliant, wonderful people like Daly, and who brought beautiful children into this world like Daisy, it gives us real meaning and why we want to push forward and why we continue to push the boundaries and make the very best, make the very safest, make the most secure product that we can to keep these people as safe as we can, day in and day out. It's what we strive for, and it's what the company's become.
Well, my relationship with Simon at HEL Performance started way back in 2002 when he contacted the Business Link service, as was back in those days, for some advice and help with regard to starting his exports.
Hello, mate.
Hello there.
How are you? Come on in, mate. Sit down. How's life with you, though? Good?
Everything's good with me, and how about you?
Yeah, very busy. So on the international front, we just had email in from Peru, Peruvian distributor. So that sounds quite interesting. And you remember with DBT, you sent us out to Brazil,
Yeah.
to the Brazilians. So we'd started up in South America, basically a new focus on a new market. And I think that that's probably where this Peru distributor has come from, maybe seen that Brazilian that we work with, seen the products, and then thought maybe I could transfer that into the Peruvian market. Steve came along and it ignited a spark in me by knowing that I had someone backing me. There was someone that was going to hold my hand potentially as I went out to the world. And it was a really big thing for us as a company to know that there was another ambassador really for the HEL Performance brand. And Steve stayed with us ever since, so 22 years of friendship really, who's allowed us to basically shoot for the stars. To say you've got 1,000 customers in the UK, that's what you've got, that's your nucleus. As soon as you go out to Europe, 360 million people there, so maybe that's 9 times, well, you get another 9,000 people. You've then got 10,000 customers. And you know who they are already, because it's the same customer that you've got in the UK, it's just in another country. Exporting now accounts for over 50% of all of our sales, and it's allowed our company to grow just beyond my wildest dreams. You like coming down to see us, don't you?
Oh, I do. I like to drive mad. He said, "Oh, look, here it comes down again. What do you want, man?" It's very pleasing to see how it's.
It is, but this is a thing, when you're actually in, day out, you don't actually see how much you've grown or how much you've...
So involved with stuff coming in and coming out.
So he likes to come in and just see how things are going, what's going on, give me a bit more confidence, pick me up when I'm feeling down. And I think if he's taught me anything, it's as long as you've got tomorrow, you can make a change. But you just need to get to tomorrow. I'd like the legacy of HEL Performance to be one of safety. We have made the braking environment, the braking business, a safer place. That marketplace before with a reusable fitting, we changed it for the better. When we started, 2 of us, 28 years ago, to now there's 38, 40 of us on site, but there's 400 of us, 4,000 of us, 400,000 of us worldwide. They're all these HEL Performance ambassadors that go around spreading the word because they all get it, they all get what we're about, that we're not fake, we're not false. We love motorbikes, we love cars, we love engines, we love petrol, we are petrol heads. And that joint passion has allowed us to run as a herd, really, and it's just escalated the business. I think people know that we're the real thing. They actually see that passion that they get from us, and they want a part of that. And that's what we're most proud of, how we've been able to move out into the world and make a real difference to people's lives.
How's that?
Yeah, it's cool.
Let's cut that.
That's a tough interview.